A British engine that could break American control over NATO. Already tested, already proven, pure power. Canada could make the entire alliance unstoppable without needing Washington's permission. Social media is exploding with the news. Defense channels racking up millions of views. The Rolls-Royce EJ230 and the Swedish Gripen. The game just changed. Except here's what nobody's telling you. I just spent hours digging through engineering forums, technical papers, and expert testimonies. And what I found will shock you. Because either this is the biggest defense breakthrough in decades, or it's the greatest myth ever sold. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know the truth that defense industry insiders are desperately trying to hide. The internet is on fire. Videos titled, "What Happens When Gripen E Meets the Rolls-Royce Engine? Pure Power," are flooding YouTube. Comment sections exploding. Plug-and-play engine swap. Already flight tested. Sweden secretly offering this to Canada. The narrative sounds incredible. Sweden offers Gripen E to prospective F-35 buyers with a redesigned Rolls-Royce EJ230 engine, removing the American F414G engine. No more American veto power. No more ITAR restrictions. Complete European independence. Eurojet has proposed a 102 kilonewton thrust version of its engine called the EJ230. That's more power than the current GEF 414. Performance boost, better acceleration, longer range, and completely ITAR free. Rumors continue to circulate, particularly in Canada, with around 100 aircraft involved, which would justify the investment. Defense enthusiasts are celebrating. European sovereignty restored, NATO freed from American chains. But wait, something doesn't add up. One engineer just destroyed the entire narrative with a single challenge. Provide me a reputable source confirming that even one single flight test has been conducted by an EJ200 equipped Gripen. Give me evidence of a single flight hour. The response? Total silence. Does the EJ230 actually exist? No. The customer is left to pay for its development and its integration into Gripen at hefty cost, all based on a proposal from 1998, 28 years ago. Never built, never tested, never flown, not even once. Someone is pushing this narrative hard. But why? Let me show you what's really happening. Trump tariffs are weaponizing defense exports. ITAR restrictions are strangling allied procurement. Colombia just signed a Gripen deal. Ukraine wants 150. The Philippines looking at 40. Peru campaigning for 24. Every single one needs U.S. State Department approval for the GEF 414 engine. The U.S. can block any contact with the Saab JAS 39 Gripen at any time. These fighters use a U.S.-made power plant. Therefore, the U.S. has the right to veto the supply of these aircraft. Nations are trapped. They want Swedish fighters but need American engines. One veto kills the entire deal. So when rumors surface about a British engine that eliminates American control, countries listen. Defense ministers get interested. Social media amplifies. But is anyone asking if it's actually real? In the late 1990s, Eurojet Turbo GmbH proposed replacing the American engine with the European EJ230, but Europe failed to win the contract. Failed. Past tense. Didn't happen. But now it's being marketed as if Canada could order it tomorrow. The strategic logic is perfect. The engineering reality? Not so much. The EJ230 isn't complete fiction. The EJ200 is real. It powers the Eurofighter Typhoon. Over 600 built, combat proven in Libya. But here's the problem. The EJ200 powers the Typhoon with 2 engines. The Gripen needs 1. That's a massive difference, requiring enormous investment to certify EJ200 for single-engine operation and integrate it into Gripen. Who pays for development? The customer, at hefty cost. And there's doubt whether Eurojet even has engineers available, given they're already maxed out developing next-generation engines for GCAP and SCAF, Europe's 6th-gen fighters. India evaluated the EJ230 for their Tejas fighter. They chose the GEF 414 instead. Why? Cost. The development investment was too high. If India with their massive defense budget couldn't justify it, how does Canada? But there's a scenario where this actually works. If Canada orders 80 Gripens with EJ230, Ukraine orders 150, and Colombia adds more, suddenly you have 200 plus aircraft. The economics start working. Development costs spread across hundreds of engines. Montreal's Rolls-Royce facility becomes the production hub. ITAR free fighters flowing to every NATO ally tired of American restrictions. No more US veto over Allied fighter sales. Ukraine gets 150 Gripens without State Department approval. Colombia, Philippines, Peru freed from Washington's permission. NATO could field twice the fighters for the same budget. 80 to 90% mission-capable rate versus F-35's 50 to 60%. $7,500 per flight hour versus $25,000. Canada doesn't just buy independence, they sell it to half the alliance. But there's a brutal catch. Timeline. Canada's CF-18 fleet is dying right now. The EJ-230 doesn't exist right now. It would require massive investment to clear EJ-200 for single-engined operation. Years of development, years of testing, years of certification. Even with Canada funding everything, you're looking at 3 to 5 years minimum. Mark Carney's review is happening this year. The decision is needed now. So here's the real question. Does Canada buy Gripen with the GE engine now, knowing they're still dependent on American export approval? Or do they fund EJ-230 development as a sovereignty investment, accepting years of delay? Or do they compromise with a mixed fleet? 40 F-35s to keep Washington happy. 80 Gripens with GE engines initially, with an option to retrofit EJ-230 engines later when they're ready. That's actually the scenario insiders are quietly discussing. Canada pays for EJ-230 development. First Gripens arrive with GE engines. As the British engines get certified, Canada retrofits. By year 5, Canada operates a completely ITAR-free Gripen fleet and becomes the production hub for every nation wanting the same freedom. But will Washington even allow that? The EJ-230 isn't proven. It isn't flight tested. It isn't ready. But the need for it is undeniable. Canada faces a choice that will define NATO for the next generation: accept American control and keep the F-35 pipeline flowing, or force the EJ-230 into reality by funding its development. Sometimes the most important technologies exist not because they're ready, but because someone has the courage to make them real. Montreal could become the factory that breaks 70 years of American defense hegemony, or it could become another case study in wishful thinking versus engineering reality. Right now, we're watching that decision play out in real time, and the entire defense world is holding its breath. Is the EJ-230 vaporware or the future of NATO independence? Are you an engineer who can fact-check this? Drop your technical take in the comments below. And subscribe right now, because if Canada actually funds this development, the entire global defense architecture changes forever. You will not want to miss what happens next.